Hello, you absolute legends. These are two of my training journals. This was probably my very first journal, and this is my current journal right here. I'd like to talk about how it's organized and maybe it's helpful. One thing about I very much love a paper log, and I go with the idea that if I didn't write it down, it didn't happen. So I try to write a lot of stuff down. This is an old Iron Mind training tablet number 2. They had a training tablet 1, and it did not have a spiral bound, so it couldn't be laid flat. You can kind of take a bet about how old this training log is. What is really nice about how this was organized is Randall Strawson had a nice little introduction, and he talked about Tommy Kono and how Tommy Kono talked about a diary of everything concerned with weightlifting. I referred to it often in checking the progress I was making and to correct any weak points of my lifts by reviewing the technique notes I kept. He didn't have video like we do today. The more I became involved in weightlifting, the more training notes I started keeping. It was at this point that I noticed the amount of improvement made in my lifts was in direct proportion to the amount of notes that I take. And I believe this to be true today. One thing that is really great about this journal, one thing I don't like about this journal is how it had the days set up already. You don't always lift or work out every day. I also didn't like how it had restricted space, but it was a great template for somebody who was in high school just figuring out. One thing this training tablet has that I have never seen in a book is every 8 weeks, it would have a picture of a great strong man, an inspirational quote, and then a list to start writing down your goals. Because 8 weeks is up, now we're back here. Oh, here, my first year. Yeah. And it had pictures, Jim McGoldrick tossing a caber. Oh, Leonid Tarankinov from Belarus. And you can just put in stuff. This is one of my first training journals, and it's great. Great little trip down memory lane. Here is my current training log. Now, with my training logs, I buy high-quality Moleskine books just off Amazon. I like the hardcover because I think it protects it right there. I'd like to have binder clips. This one comes with a rubber snap, but I like to have binder clips. When I open it up, first thing I do is I write down how to contact me and a reward, and when I started this journal. So I started this in January. When I'm done it, I'll put it down right there. Now, in this journal, it is just open blank pages. I leave the first couple pages blank in case I ever want to write notes. And also, just when pages tear out, they seem to tear out from the beginning or in the back. So I leave them set up right here. How I organize my week is I organize a week is spread across the whole book. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just looking at, so that's how I organize things vertically. And I like to do it vertically because when I can look from page to page, I can keep my eye on the top across and see what's going on right there. Another thing I do with my journal is I have a vertical kind of list of priorities, so to speak. So for example, squats and deadlifts are high priority to me philosophically. So my squats go on the very top. So if you're looking across my journal, left to right as you turn pages, you will see the squat workouts. And below that, you will see pulling workouts. So it may be deadlifts, it may be power cleans, halting deadlifts, or power snatches. And then kind of so the northern hemisphere of the page is meant to represent the things I like and the things I prioritize, squats and pulls. The southern hemisphere of the page is upper body or presses. Now, even within the presses, I prioritize my press over my bench. So the press is always, so in the southern south of the equator, the press, bench, and then any other thing down here. Press, stuff like that. So I put those, that's how I kind of organize this thing. Left to right is days, and horizontally are lifts of priority, of top to down priority right here. These numbers that I put in here, 1, 2. This is meant to indicate what order I did the lift in. I squatted first, power clean second, pressed first, bench pressed, squatted, rack pulled. Gives me an idea of the order I did the lifts when I go back and look at it right there. These numbers that are listed here, I write out each set explicitly and then put down the ×5 for 5 reps right here. And again, I try to organize these vertically just so it's nice and neat right here. Thing that I've started doing recently is measuring my velocity of each of those sets there. And how I record the velocity is a little different depending on the lift. For my squat workouts, I record the average velocity over the course of those 5 reps. But for my power clean, power snatch workouts, kind of the explosive lifts, what I record is the peak velocity. That's exhibited right here. So the peak velocity, I might only exhibit for a quarter of a second or a tenth of, or actually probably a hundredth of a second is when I hit my peak velocity. So I don't record the average velocity of a power clean. This is also kind of helpful if you're doing power cleans where you halt at different positions of the lift. So peak velocity is what I record right there. If you're not keeping a journal, I also bet you don't have a coach. Get both. I hope this helps. Thank you.